If you're influencing someone and you have good intention for them and they know you have good intention for them, you're influencing them for a win-win. You can get an unconscious rapport in a few seconds. The moment the other person's unconscious recognizes you're trying to be like them, you're trying to sync with them, you could almost be there, and then the rapport is built. Human beings are very, very flexible. We understand intent. And if it is not harmful for us, we are cooperative. And the most exaggerated example of it is Milton Erickson used to do a demonstration for something known as pain control. Milton only teaches medical doctors, and he had a group of doctors, and some of these doctors come from different countries. And there was once a group where he was doing a demo, and he calls a volunteer subject to put her into a nice altered state and then, do pain control. Like, in that altered state, he could pick her with the pincher or prick her and she won't feel a thing. Now, after she comes to the stage, Milton realizes that she doesn't understand English. So in his textbook, which he wrote for doctors, which is in the library, I think in volume 3, he writes about patterns of Milton Erickson. I think volume 3 that he wrote. He describes how he switched to nonverbal mode to just indicate to her. He looks at her and then he pinches his hand and he goes like that, communicating that there is a pain. And then he takes his both hands out and then he shifts the state, and now he goes and then he pinches and he shows like nothing is happening. It's like nothing is going on. That's it. Now, then he pointed to her, and she, by herself, went into an altered state. And then people came and they poked her, they touched her, and she didn't feel a thing. So, as much as possible, when the environment is right, when things are favorable, as human beings, we're so accommodative, we're so cooperative. If you're influencing someone and you have good intention for them and they know you have good intention for them, you're influencing them for a win-win. You can get an unconscious rapport in a few seconds. The moment the other person's unconscious recognizes you're trying to be like them, you're trying to sync with them, you could almost be there, and then the rapport is built. With physics, it's not like that. It has to be perfect. Like if you had the tuning fork and you had to find all the harmony and stuff like that. And that's the most important difference between intelligent species and non-living things is that in certain things, you have to be absolutely precise for it to deliver the outcome that you want. There has to be a particular temperature water has to reach before it can boil. It can't be around there. It has to reach that. But with human beings, there are two people involved, and there's intelligence, and we understand patterns. So even when there's like a similarity, you start syncing up. And that's very good for all of you who are able to pace and lead. Very good. They did this experiment in I think it was Stanford, long time ago. This is 1960s. Now, they were trying to prove, that only a certain group of people were hypnotizable. I still don't know what that means because I don't know hypnosis. According to me, everybody is in a trance all the time. They're just moving from one trance to another. But, back in those days, they used to have the Spielberg test and stuff like that, They believed that if your eyeballs can roll up, then you're in a higher degree of hypnosis and stuff like that. So they have various tests like that. All of which, by the way, pain control, everything, people do it naturally in their awakened state. Like if someone, gets pricked by a needle and it's bleeding, and they feel the pain, and if a tiger comes to their door, nobody is going to remember this pain. It's instant pain control. So we do most of this hypnotic phenomena in an awake state. When you watch batsmen and people who bowl, the good legendary batsmen, if you ever mirror them, you notice that for them, the ball doesn't come to them at the speed at which normal people see. The ball comes to them at a more comfortable, slower speed. For some, it's even exaggerated. especially snipers, when they do Olympics, they meditate for half an hour so that when they see the target far, it appears to them as if it's closer. And it's not like they're going in and saying, let me hypnotize myself to be a good sniper. These are natural awaking states, and we're always in a trance moving from one to another. But anyway, this university wanted to figure out how many people are hypnotizable. And so they had like a tape recorder and a very boring trance induction which says, you are going down the stairs, down the stairs. And back then people believed that, if you speak in one tone, that somehow people will listen to you. And down is not even down. It's saying down, but the words are saying down, but the voice is going down the escalator, and and they played that thing, and then and it would go like, and then as you keep climbing and going down, 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 there is another escalator, and you're stepping into it, and it's going down, 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 down the escalator, down, and And about 45 minutes later, people would be in a trance. About 65% of the people were in trance. I think that, I don't know the exact number, something between 60 to 65. And they published the results saying only 60% of the people are hypnotizable. And John and Richard looked at it and said, it's not a test of how many people are hypnotizable. It's a test to prove how flexible are human beings. That even with something that monotonous, absolutely boring, ineffective, that over 60% of the human beings will still cooperate, because if they think that it's useful for them, they'll allow themselves to go through that experience. And I think that's something you want to keep in mind when you're building unconscious rapport with people. If you have a good intent and if you somehow let them know that you're doing this for a win-win outcome, you'll find unconscious rapport much, much, much easier to happen. And sometimes you need to have unconscious rapport to make them know that you have a good intention. So it goes both ways.
We never like to complete our video without giving you the opportunity to personally evolve and launch your legacy. Imagine for a moment, what would it feel like when you are impacting the world positively so much and enhancing your business, your health, your family, and legacy. All of this together simultaneously, continuing to grow leaps and bounds, fast and smoothly. If you've got the right motives, we believe Antano and Harini will be able to help you launch your legacy in compressed time. Get excellence in installation-based personal evolution and keep making a difference, starting with yourself.